Matthew Ryan, what a massive name in football, especially to come to a potential club of the size of Derby County. If this deal is to happen, Derby County will have, in my opinion, secured a massive upgrade on their previous number one. Now, obviously, there's a lot to get into in this video, but first off, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button as well. Let me know your thoughts on the link to Matthew Ryan down in the comments. And now we're going to get into talking all about him. So the first I saw of the link was this article from AZ Alerts, who I believe is a Dutch media source for AZ Alkmaar, where Matt Ryan currently plays. And as you can probably imagine, I can't speak Dutch. You can't speak Dutch. I'm assuming that's in Dutch. So what I had to do was go on to the article and I had to translate it into English. And it appears, according to them, that Derby County have the best papers to incorporate the goalkeeper to Derby County. Ryan's name is not unknown in the UK. He's played for Arsenal. He's played for Brighton over here. And it does seem as if he is going to leave after a short-term contract with AZ Alkmaar, which means it'll be a free transfer. And obviously, we secured promotion over the past season. So if we do take a bit of a bigger look into Matt Ryan's career, obviously for me, he's a definite upgrade on Josh Vickers, in my opinion. No offence to Josh Vickers in any way. Still think he's a good goalkeeper, but I do think someone of Matt Ryan's calibre is definitely above that level. And Paul Warne said it on TalkSport a few weeks ago. He thought for the same amount of money that Wildsmith was asking, he could have got someone better. At 32 years old, Matt Ryan could probably play for another 6 or 7 years. If obviously he keeps up with his fitness. As mentioned, he plays at AZ Alkmaar, or did towards the back end of last season. He's an Australian international born in 1992. And if we do look further into his career, he spent time at 9 different clubs. He's been at Brighton, Arsenal, AZ Alkmaar most recently, KRC Genk, Valencia, Club Bruges, Central Coast, Real Sociedad and FC Copenhagen. Over his career, he has made 453 appearances, totaling 41,010 minutes. He's conceded 529 goals and made 152 clean sheets, collecting 20 yellow cards. Now, I do think he's definitely an upgrade on what we've had last season in Joe Wildsmith. And I do think he's an upgrade on Josh Vickers too. Now, let's look through his clubs and where he's made the most appearances. 3 senior appearances for Arsenal with 1 clean sheet, 2 conceded. 9 appearances for Real Sociedad, 3 clean sheets, 14 goals conceded. Copenhagen, 11 appearances, 5 clean sheets, 12 goals conceded. Valencia, 23 appearances, 28 goals conceded, 7 clean sheets. At KRC Genk, he played 24 times, 20 conceded, 11 clean sheets. He spent 64 games at AZ Alkmaar, 71 goals conceded, 25 clean sheets. At Central Coast in Australia, 94 appearances, 99 goals conceded and 36 clean sheets. Club Bruges, 37 clean sheets in 102 games with 99 goals conceded. And his longest spell, well, I say longest spell, his longest appearance streak was at Brighton, 123 games, 27 clean sheets and 185 goals conceded. Now, I think, obviously, we know he's a goalkeeper. I've mentioned that a few times in this video. But I think definitely he has a huge improvement on what we've had over the past 2 years. Now, that's no offence to Joe Wildsmith. And as I mentioned previously in previous videos, I'd have loved to have kept Joe Wildsmith in the building. I'd love to have kept him as our first choice keeper, obviously, being the keeper who helped us get back to the Championship. I think that was something that he deserved. But obviously, as Paul Warne mentioned on TalkSport, there was a breakdown in contract negotiations between Wildsmith and Derby County, and he felt he could get better for what Wildsmith was asking for, which I think is totally within his rights to do that. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if he holds that same regard for the likes of James Collins and Louis Sibley. But obviously, Matt Ryan, playing all those games in goal, he's very experienced and certainly, in my opinion, would come in as our number one. Now, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But for me, I think he definitely comes in as that first choice goalkeeper. I think I have no problems with Josh Vickers. when he played this season, obviously there's off-field situations to regard when it comes to Josh Vickers, but I never really felt comfortable. And I don't know if that's because of how well Wildsmith had been, or obviously as Derby County fans, we don't have a great history with keepers. Obviously, Ben Hamer, Keller Roos, like there's always been a keeper there that sort of like punches you in the nuts and isn't quite as good as they probably are perceived to be. Now, I'm not saying Vickers isn't a good goalkeeper. I think he made a good account of himself when he played. I just felt more comfortable with Wildsmith, and I think bringing in Matt Ryan, you're then going to have that transition period where it gives Vickers that opportunity to go, well, hang on a minute, I'm better than him, I should be number one, I should be first choice, and it'll be up to Vickers and Ryan to battle it out throughout pre-season and in training for that number one shirt. Now, still waiting on news about Louis Sibley and James Collins as I'm recording this video. I'm hoping that comes over the next week or so, because that massively changes the look of what we're doing this summer. I do think whether Collins stays or goes, I think we're going to be looking for a striker. Sibley, then the discussion is he going to be a left back? Is he going to be a midfielder? Where's he going to play? So obviously with those things in mind, let's talk a bit more about Matt Ryan. Obviously, permanent deal would be the one on the table. Judging by the article, I'm assuming it's a free deal. I could be wrong, but from what I took out of it, it'll be transfer free, which I take as expiration of contract free deal. And as mentioned, I do personally believe Matt Ryan will be our brand new number one. If he was to sign, obviously, there's no guarantee that he does sign. I've mentioned it a million times in these videos. These are just purely based on links from reputable sources, reputable journalists. Now, I do believe that in the past few minutes, Derbyshire Live have reposted this article in their own words and things like that. So it is one of those where there is a definite possibility for this. We need 2 goalkeepers this summer. We need a third choice who's happy to be third choice, and we need someone to battle Vickers for number one, or come in and be the number one. Not necessarily it even be a battle, because I think sometimes having that battle for the number one then causes a few problems behind the scenes. But for me, I do think Matt Ryan would be an excellent signing. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Now, the big question I do have about this signing is the wage demands. Now, we know he's played at Arsenal, he's played at Brighton, he's played at some big clubs across Europe and even in Australia. And is he going to be cheaper than what Wildsmith was asking for? He's going to cost around the same amount. It'd be really interesting getting some figures. I know we obviously won't, but obviously those things would be massively interesting to hear, because I'd love to know what Wildsmith was requesting. Obviously, he's not got a new club yet as of I'm recording this video. I've not seen him be announced anywhere. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that. But for me, Matt Ryan, definite improvement. And I do think it's what we need. A competent, experienced goalkeeper. He's played at the highest level. And he definitely will make a difference to our defensive line, in my opinion. I think having that calm, composed goalkeeper is definitely something that Derby County need and have craved for years and years. I think Wildsmith got to a point where he was, and then he had a few off games and sort of never really got back into the groove. And then obviously, realistically, the last keeper before that was probably Ryan Alsop, but then that's a bit 50-50 because he had his moments as well. So realistically, you've got to go back to the Scott Carson, Lee Grant days when we sort of had a proper, experienced, calm and composed keeper that really worked with the club and seemed to be brilliant. And obviously, there's a long way to go in this transfer window. No deals have been confirmed from Derby County yet. I will be keeping on top of everything. So if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button as well, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And I'll catch you in my next video. Be sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.